So season 3 episode 15 of The Flash was one of the best episodes so far, at least in my opinion. Everything kind of really fell into place. They tugged with your heart. We got false hope. We got a lot of drama going on, obviously. But what the drama does, it builds up the tension for the future, because you're getting closer and closer to the season finale of The Flash, and you've got all of these things, like you've got the episodes being slow, and then all of a sudden one episode just speeds up insanely fast. It's fantastic. It's one of the good points of the show. Now, what I wanted to talk about, as you can see in the title, honestly, I don't even know what the title is, so whatever you see as the title, that's the title. But basically in this episode, what we saw Barry actually somehow stand up to Savitar. He ended up landing a few shots on Savitar, okay, and if Savitar really is the fastest guy, he would have been able to dodge those. So everyone's freaking out, like, how did Barry get so fast? What is he doing? Is his emotions, are they like fueling his speed? Yes, his emotions actually make him faster, as you saw in season 2 when Zoom killed his father. He actually caught up with one of the time remnants and he beat the actual crap out of it, although that could have been Zoom partially trying to egg him on to actually kill him, to turn him into basically what Zoom is, but he eventually didn't. My point here being also is that Savitar, when you saw him switch places with Wally, he actually basically, he was crawling out. He was clawing his way out of the Speedforce. He looked kind of exhausted, you know, so that would also make sense as to why he was kinda a bit slower, I guess. He was weakened because he just finally got out of the Speedforce. Also, another thing is, this whole time that we were seeing him actually be quite so fast, was due to him being in the Speedforce. He was just opening portals in and out, and that's why in the earlier episodes of the season it looked like he was like everywhere in the city at once, but that was just because he was just creating portals and opening them up at different parts of the city and dragging the speedster through the Speedforce, which actually all makes sense because he was still in the Speedforce. He could only jump out for a little bit before being pulled back into the Speedforce, which is that's actually fantastic. So he actually ended up having Wally take his place in there, and still the fact that Barry was still able to land a few hits despite Savitar still being the fastest is actually kind of crazy, because you saw Barry actually end up speeding right behind Savitar and, you know, grabbing a hold of his head / the neck area, which was actually, I don't even know what to say about that. That was actually, he either surprised him or he genuinely was faster than him. And, you know, because before you actually saw Savitar, he made all the speedsters look like they were barely moving compared to his speed, you know. So honestly, I don't even know if it's like a writing error. I don't know if they're actually like nerfing Savitar now for these 1v1s, because he would actually, like, if he was still in the Speedforce, he would absolutely demolish Barry the way he did at the earlier part of the season. And like I said, Savitar wasn't as fast as you thought he was. He was just using the Speedforce to his advantage, because he was already in there for what felt like eternity, long enough for him to lose his sanity multiple times over. He basically, I guess, with that Philosopher's Stone, he ended up just basically being able to pop out of the Speedforce for a short period of time. I mean, when you saw earlier, when he appeared to Wally in his head, because, you know, he created Wally, basically, you know, he gave him his power in this timeline. What basically happened there, Wally still took damage, even though, like, nobody else could see Savitar. Savitar was actually still there, because why would Wally fly around like that? He wouldn't throw himself. He actually took damage from Savitar himself. And there's people that are thinking that Savitar said that he was the future Flash. No, he actually said, I am the future, with like a pause there, and he said Flash. So I am the future Flash, which basically is trying to say that he is the future, you know, just something like that. Because why would Barry end up turning into Savitar and then going back into it? It would already be a paradox on top of a paradox, because we already have enough paradoxes going on in, you know, the Flash anyways. But People are also thinking that he's actually a future version of Wally, which I'm probably going to cover in a different video. But basically what I'm just trying to say is kind of just explain why things went down the way they did. Kind of explain why, you know, Barry and Savitar were actually able to kind of, you know, go head on, even though Savitar still had the advantage. He was still taunting Barry the whole time. And like I said, it's a mixture of Barry being emotional, which makes him faster. It pumped his body full of adrenaline, so his reaction times were much better. As you saw, he already took like a punch to the face from Savitar, who's got his own armor of metal, and he actually, when they first clashed, he made him go backwards. He made him, they both went flying, but he was in armor that is heavy, I presume. I presume that's his armor and that his real body's in there. Otherwise it would be weird if it just is kind of like Full Metal Alchemist style, just got armor there, holding him together with just his will and the Speedforce itself, which would be weird. But like I said, Savitar, now we get to see how fast he actually is, because he's no longer in the Speedforce. He's no longer able to manipulate it the way he did back earlier the season when they would open the Philosopher's, that thing that was holding the stone in place, which would actually allow him to pop out for a brief while to, you know, do his thing where he was beating everyone down. But, you know, now he's no longer in the Speedforce. His connection, I'd say, isn't as strong as it would be if he was still trapped in there. So basically that should be the whole gist of it. I do want to hear how many of you guys actually think that this is a future version of Wally, because if this is true, this could be like a paradox itself where he could have thrown Wally in there, and Wally, because Barry would just like yell at him all the time, you know, make him feel like he wasn't good enough and all that when he was trying to help, could drive him crazy to the point of becoming Savitar. But then, you know, he's Kid Flash, so I don't know if that would actually happen. Plus next episode, Barry's actually gone into the Speedforce itself. So maybe he might get Wally out. I don't know what's going to happen. The most likely thing that I'm thinking of is he's going to get back into the Speedforce and they're going to switch him again. So he's going to be stuck in there. You know, just stuff like that. I don't even know. And yeah, just tell me what you guys think. And do you think that I'm correct about what I've said here? Just, you know, let me know. I know I'm repeating myself, but I am actually really tired right now. It's 2:30 in the morning, but I really wanted to make this video for you guys just so we could talk about it in the comment section, because I absolutely love this show, and I hope there's like 6 or 9 seasons, because I just enjoy it that much. I see people complaining about, oh my god, throw Iris into the Speedforce and all that stuff. They've got to make it work somehow. They have to involve characters. They made this new HR, so he's different from all the other Harrison Wells, but they need Harrison Wells in this show to kind of make the dynamic work, and I think that's a genius aspect of this show. It's really enjoyable, as cliche as it gets, with the whole run Barry run thing that is, you know, it's repeated throughout the show. But, you know, these shows have to have its cliches, you know, it's still a superhero show for people to watch. But yeah, this has been it for me. My name is iVoltGaming. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you're new to the channel, please do leave a like and subscribe. I will do more Flash videos. I do other content as well, so if you want, check that out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys, have an epic day.